Anyway, my original experience with these damn things when I was about 6 years old and is forever burned into my memory. We were visiting my cousins in a very rural part of eastern Kentucky. It was dead summer, and the AC consisted of open windows and box fans. The boys were piled up in one room and the girls in another. Just as daylight broke, I was awake, laying on a pallet with two of the older boys, when all of a sudden a huge, dark, hairy arm reached through the window and was grabbing things off the dresser. I was petrified, and all I could do was bury myself between my cousins and pray. It was only there less than a minute and then nothing else. Of course, when everyone woke up, I told them what happened. My cousins looked very concerned, but my aunt said, "Oh, that was just them boys playing a prank. That was just a costume, right, boys?" They just shook their heads in agreement, and we went out to play. Naturally, being a 6-year-old boy, I immediately started hounding them to get the gorilla suit out so we could play King Kong, but they refused, and the rest of the visit went without incident. Looking back on that day, as I got older, it dawned on me. Steve, those people were dirt poor. They had an outhouse, and the only running water they had was to a sink in the kitchen, cold water only. I don't see them forking over the money for a gorilla suit when that money would have obviously been spent for necessities. Fast forward to a week or so ago, I've been checking out my new area and asked my wife what she would think if Bigfoot turned up in the vicinity. Steve, she looked up as serious as could be and asked me to please be careful when I'm out in the woods. I asked her why, and her response made my jaw drop. She told me about a family get-together she had when she was 11 at a grandparents' house in southeast Ohio. Most folks know this, but the southeast part of Ohio is Appalachia, complete with hills and hollers. Her mom was sort of the black sheep and had stepped over to the wood line to have a smoke when an obvious male Sasquatch stepped out of the woods and grabbed her mother. Everyone there saw it happen, and the men immediately ran to the house for a shotgun, deer rifle, and a revolver her grandpa owned and stormed up the hill after them. They returned a few hours later with her mom, who was obviously an emotional wreck. They called the sheriff's office and reported the incident. Apparently, they had tracked them down and killed the Sasquatch. The deputy walked with them to examine the body and instructed everyone to stay away and that someone would be there soon to deal with the corpse. Within a couple hours, 2 vehicles pulled up and walked into the woods. Shortly after that, a helicopter appeared, and she assumes that is how they removed the body. The men came back out of the woods, and after the helicopter took off, and instructed everyone there to keep this incident to themselves, and no follow-up of any kind was ever done. I hear the emails you read about these things being killed, and shady characters come to retrieve the body with no explanation. Apparently, this is standard operating procedure. I know people will say this is nuts, but all these people can't be lying or mistaken. The truth will have to come out soon. People are starting to get over their fear and speaking out. It's only a matter of time. Thank you for all that you do, and never stop doing it, Gene. And that is quite a story, Gene. And thanks again for sending that email.